The following is an AZPM original production.
Arizona Science is supported by Research Corporation for Science Advancement.
For AZPM, I'm Leslie Tolbert, Regent's Professor Emerita in Neuroscience at the University of Arizona, and this is Arizona Science. Our guest today is Paloma Beamer, Associate Dean for Community Engagement and Professor of Public Health at the University of Arizona. Thanks for joining us, Paloma, and congratulations on recently winning a very prestigious award, the Presidential Early Career Award.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start with some background. You have a PhD in civil and environmental engineering from Stanford, and now you're the Community Engagement Core Director for the Southwest Environmental Health Sciences Center at the U of A. What drew you to the field of environmental engineering and its potentials for impacting our health?
Yeah, I actually started off with a bachelor's degree in environmental engineering, and from growing up in both California and visiting my grandmother and my mom's hometown in Baja California, going between the two worlds. I spent my childhood with both my grandmothers and spending time between Baja California and California, and just seeing those two worlds that were so different and how the environments were so different and the exposures were so different made me think that that was an area where somebody who was bicultural and bilingual could have an impact.
So tell us about this BRISA Center that you now lead.
Yeah, so the BRISA Center stands for Building Resilience, Innovation, Sustainability, and Assistance. And this was a Thriving Communities Technical Assistance Center funded by EPA and DOE. And unfortunately, we've lost that funding. But the goal of the center was really to be a one-stop shop for communities that wanted technical assistance on helping them address environmental, energy, and climate concerns. We conducted listening sessions, not just here in Arizona, but California, Nevada, Hawaii, from which we did some needs assessments to understand what some of the real concerns and needs were. And one of the key things that would come out was lack of trust in the federal government and the ability to have solutions and have scientists come back to the community. So we've really spent the last 2 years building that trust. And now that we've lost our funding, we're still committed to maintaining that trust by maintaining the work in whatever capacity we can.
So I have to ask you, with limited resources, you must be focusing on particular areas, not able to do everything you've been doing. What are your areas of focus going forward likely to be?
Our first area of focus has been to primarily maintain the funding database. So that's a resource that has over 300 grants that communities can use, and it's online and freely available. We have stopped making our trainings, but we still do have the 12 trainings we completed on how to write grants and things, but we're not able to do the same level of curated support that we were doing, where kind of similar to our research development services here at the U of A, where we would sit with the community groups and review their grants and provide them guidance on the budget and actually walk them through the application process.
So the kinds of assistance you provide are various.
Mm-hmm.
What are the biggest needs?
Funding for communities to do their own work and their own solutions. But aside from that, in terms of other areas, a lot of it was organizational capacity. So like, how do you become a 501c3? One of the videos that we have online in both English and Spanish is how to get your SAMS.gov number, which is essentially kind of like your social security number for a grant. So like the U of A has one, every organization has to have one. And that's your first thing you have to put into your grant application, but it's a major rate limiting step for a lot of the groups we worked with. We just dealt with the data center here coming to Tucson. As these new potentially environmental threats come to communities, they're grasping for trying to find out information about them, who's a reliable resource, and those sorts of things. And a lot of that we are still able to do through the Southwest Environmental Health Sciences Community Engagement Core. We're happy to provide information sheets, create information documents, review the literature, and do that kind of thing, for communities when those questions come, and then also try to get the researchers to start addressing that.
Thanks for this whirlwind tour of some really exciting work. What you're doing is creative and exciting and very, very important. Paloma Beamer is an expert in many aspects of public health, from identifying diverse environmental hazards to developing creative solutions for vulnerable populations. Thank you for joining us. You can listen to this and all Arizona Science conversations at azpm.org/Arizona Science. I'm Leslie Tolbert.
Thank you to Research Corporation for Science Advancement for their support of Arizona Science. AZPM podcasts are made possible in part by donations from listeners like you. Learn more at support.azpm.org. Thank you.